Welcome to the Python Fundamentals tutorial. Today we're going to be learning about string formatting, which is a great way to output the values that we have within our code in a string. And it's very legible to someone reading the code. So let's get started. Say string equals my name is, and then I'm going to put curly braces, right? So the curly braces is where I want to insert my value, right? So I'll say name is equal to Joe, right? Now I can do print string. Now I can call the dot format method. So I call dot format, and then I put in the value that I'm passing in, which is going to be name. Okay. So what this is going to do is it's going to use a string, and it's going to see that there's a format. So it'll look what's inside, which is name, and it'll look for the first place that there's a curly braces, and it'll put name where that is, right? So I can just do run. And my name is Joe. Okay. Now, we can also do something called rounding with this. So let's say we have something that costs 54 point something dollars, right? So string that will cost. And now I have my curly braces, but I'm also going to add a colon dot to F dollars. So what this does is this rounds whatever value that's passed in to two decimal places. So we can do print string dot format and pass in the price. Right? We can print that. That will cost 57.57 because 3 will make it round down. So we don't have to look at all this. And in the real world, you would never be charged a decimal amount of cents. And what would happen if we didn't use the dot format here? Let's try. Print string, right? So now there's no dot format. And keep in mind that dot format doesn't change the original string. It only changed it temporarily. Like, when we use print dot format, it doesn't change the actual string. If we did string equals string dot format, then that would change the string. But we don't want to do that right now because that would make it not reusable, right? Um, 1 second. Right, so let's see what's going to happen when we print this out without doing dot format. And as you might have expected, it just comes out as that will cost and then that gibberish in between. So it basically just doesn't fill in the values. Now we can also use dot format for more than one value. Let's do string equal to. Now we'll put a person's name there later. Likes to, some kind of hobby maybe. And then we'll put another thing for the time, right? So do name is equal to Jill. Hobby is equal to run. Frequency, which is how often they do it. And I'll say all the time. Now we can do print string dot format. And now I'm just going to pass in a list. Name, hobby, frequency. Now running this, I get Jill likes to run all the time, right? So it works out because we just have to pass in any list. If this was a list of Jill run all the time and I just passed in the list, it would also work. We can also have indices with this to make sure that the values are going in the correct spots and so we can use values multiple times. So string equals, now instead of just leaving it blank, I'm going to print out what I did up here the same way. So I'm going to put a 0 instead. Likes to. Now I'll put a 1 and a 2, right? So I can do print string dot format and do the same thing that I did up there. We got an error because, oh, I didn't have an equal sign. Now let me try it again. We get the same result, right? So you might be asking, that seems kind of like just an extra step, but it is actually really useful. Let's say I ended the sentence there, and I say their name, so Jill, is also really cool. Now, you can see, I just used Jill twice in the same string, and that's only really possible if I used an indice, right? I couldn't do that with just these blanks. Now, finally, we have named indices. So string is equal to, and instead of putting a number in here, I'm going to put a string, right? Name, does, hobby, on, time, right? So I can do print string.format, and this time I'm going to set the values equal to string. So name is equal to John, hobby is equal to wood carving, and then time is equal to Sundays. Now we can see John does wood carving on Sundays. And naming indices is really useful if you know someone's going to read your code and it's really legible, right? By looking at this, I'm sure even someone who doesn't understand programming can understand what's going on, as opposed to something like this. So that's going to be it for today's video. It was short, and string formatting is kind of a niche topic, but if you are ever printing something out, this will be very useful to you.